All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing today? Can you guys hear me and see me okay? What's it sound like? How's everyone doing? Thank you all so much for being here today. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, thank you. Great. Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys can see me and hear me. Great. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining today's live stream. I had to postpone it because yesterday, I'm still dealing with a little headache. So I do have my liquids here. I'm drinking some Gatorade and some water. I don't know if I was dehydrated or not, but I did end up with quite a gnarly headache, right? A severe migraine, just pain behind my eyeballs. And I think it was just from sitting all night and editing and maybe not sleeping well. I haven't really been sleeping well here for the past like 2 days. And so yeah, I just didn't want the bright lights in my eyes. I mostly was dealing with a lot of light sensitivity. And so I noticed I just needed to close all my curtains, make it really dark in the room, and I just lied down with my cat, Mr. Butters. He spent the entire rest of the afternoon with me. It was amazing. It was great. And then I woke up this morning and I do feel a lot better. I do feel a lot better, but I didn't want to do too much reading and squinting with the bright light. And so today, instead, we are going to keep watching some more Veroscope. And we are going to go down the rabbit hole with Unapologetically Me. I know that our members voted to have that as our next live stream series, and we will get to that. So that's going to be our next one. Unapologetically Me, if you haven't been to her channel, she's amazing. She breaks down the Chris Watts case as well, very detailed. She's been down the rabbit hole and knows so much. And so we will be going through that one as well. But yeah, but today I just wanted to take it a little easier on my eyesight. And I do appreciate that Veroscope has a very dark background. And so we're going to be watching some more of Nichol Kessinger's behavior, especially if you guys have seen the last video that was posted, not D4VD, right? Disgusting, right? That entire case, gross. But the one prior to that, with Ronnie Watts. Now, I do want to talk about Ronnie Watts here for a second. If you watch the video, Ronnie, it seems that he already knew. He knew, and actually, he already knows. He knows now what Chris Watts meant by when he said, "I should have just gone to the Rockies game." It seems that Ronnie already knows, and so I've done so many videos on this. And I wanna talk about that because it does seem that that was the turning point. Him going Chris Watts going to the Rockies game or going to the Lazy Dog is really what made all of this go down. Do we agree? Because it seems that every single time that we go down that rabbit hole, it seems that Chris Watts is telling us that had he not gone to the Lazy Dog, he would not have murdered his family. He blurted it out to his dad. They were driving on their way to see investigators, and he's just like, "Uh, I should have just gone to the Rockets game, Dad." And of course, Ronnie is like, "Hmm? I don't know what he means. I had no idea what he meant by that. I don't know." And I was just like, I was just going down the car and I was like, he was going down pretty fast. I wasn't really paying attention, but either way, he picked me up in a Mustang. Right. And so Ronnie didn't know at the time what Chris Watts was saying, but it seems that he knows now. And so I want to watch this, right? Because this is one of our newer Veroscope videos that he published. And so I want to see if there's anything else that we can get from this because it doesn't matter how many times we watch and listen to these interviews and all this footage, we still keep finding new information every single time. And so with that in mind, right, with the entire Lazy Dog in mind, let's go ahead and dive into this and see if there's anything that pops out that we can add to our calendar or anything that gives us a clue into the Lazy Dog. and them actually planning the murder, which I believe, right, my opinion and speculation, I believe that the entire plan, step by step, of what was going to go down the next day happened at the Lazy Dog. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and check them out. It is Veroscope. Go ahead and give them a like. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and give this live stream a like as well. Of course, you have to like it, but like the live stream, right? You have to like what I'm saying and what you're watching. But if you like what you're watching and what you're listening to, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe to Rabbit Hole Rocks channel as well. All right, let's go ahead and dive in.
Welcome back to the Nichol Kessinger case, which we've been following along on the Veroscope channel. And Nichol Kessinger was involved in the Chris Watts murder of his wife and two little children. And this was his mistress. And many people believe that she knows more than she says in her police interviews and in the transcripts that we're going to be looking at. So we've been looking at her police interview.
Veroscope with those jump scares very early on in the video. I love it. Veroscope already scaring us very early on. We're like, oh my God. Ah, the witch is approaching my screen. How do I get away? All right, let's continue.
And we've been looking at the forensic linguistics of what she says. So, as an example, and we'll be going into a little bit of detail before we carry on with the video. We're all used to this. Now, the door that would not close. Once you see this, you will notice it everywhere, and you already do. You know what I'm about to say, I promise you. When someone denies something, because on the Veroscope channel, we're learning about liars and gaslighting and how to spot when somebody is doing that, and also how to tell if somebody's being truthful, useful in all sorts of ways, from dating, relationships to business, all sorts of ways. But when someone denies something nobody accused them of, the denials tell you, or the denial tells you, what is on their mind very often.
Yes, yes. We've been talking about this from the very beginning. Every time that we watch Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger, we know that anytime that they bring something up that they weren't asked, it's because they're telling us that they're guilty of something. No one even asked them any of these questions, and they're like, that's not what I said. No, I mean, I didn't say, oh, get rid of your wife, get rid of your children, let's move in together, let's get married, let's have a baby together, let's buy a 3-car garage house. It was not about that. It's usually because it is about that. No one asked Nichol Kessinger if this was all because of that, and she still told us it wasn't because of that. No. Really? So, very obvious on top of the evidence, on top of the Google searches and the text messages between her and her friends, we know that even through her own behavior, through the analysis of behavior language, right? Behavioral language, we know that this alone is a lie because of the way that she's saying it. So we don't even, the thing is, right, that we have her behavior, which we can already say, yes, she might be guilty of something, but we also have the evidence, black and white text messages and Google searches to also back up that claim. So it's a double whammy for her. It's not just her behavior, her sketchiness, right? It's also the obvious black and white evidence, all the material that we have against her. So if anyone is still wondering if Nichol Kessinger is guilty of anything, watch all of her behavior. Look through all of the evidence. We can only hope, again, we can only hope that a district attorney in the future can see everything that the rest of the world sees. What do you guys think? Yeah, Veroscope's Veroscope's analyst is a brilliant man. Yes. All of these videos, he goes very in depth, and that's what I like. That we are watching Nichol Kessinger, but then also seeing the textbook. So we're able to see the science, and it's amazing. Again, things that are backed by science, it's very hard to, refute. But hello, Autumn. All right, let's continue.
more often than you think. But of course, you're not able to slow down and catch it at conversational speed. And perhaps it was just a day or two ago. So we don't catch it necessarily, but it happens. You do not walk into work, for example, and say, I definitely did not rob a bank this weekend, guys. Would you? Would you? If you did, your colleagues would think, why are you telling us that? Now, I'm over egging this to make the example. It can be, very subtle.
I mean, yes, this is like Tyrone Biggums, right? Dave Chappelle's character, Tyrone Biggums, coming into work and saying, "I don't do crack. No, I don't do crack at all. Crack is not my favorite hobby to do over the weekend." Right? You wouldn't say that because everyone knows that it's obvious that you're doing crack on the weekends. And this is the same thing. I definitely did not murder anyone this weekend. No, I didn't pawn my aunt's furniture or anything this weekend. No, what did you guys do this weekend? Because I definitely did not do that. No one does that. No one comes into work and admits to something that they didn't do. And so, again, it's just another one of those examples that we see here when people are being deceptive. They're going to tell you the things that they didn't think about. That's a red flag. That tells you that those are the things that that they are actually thinking about. Let's continue.
But what is on the top of your mind is very often what comes out in our language. So, how many times does Nicole deny thinking about murder? Well, at one point, she says she did not think they got murdered. Not a typical thought, she says when somebody just checks out for the day. In other words, she tells the police officer that when she was told that, and of course she knew that they weren't going through the best of marriage situations. Well, she did because she was having an affair with him. So of course she knew. But when told that Shanann had gone with the two children, it didn't cross her mind to think, oh, well, maybe she's gone to stay with a friend because the marriage has obviously got a bit traumatic and maybe they've had an argument. Who knows? Maybe she's gone shopping. Nobody knows. But what does Nicole say? Nicole tells us she did not think they got murdered. I definitely did not rob a bank this weekend. Do you see? And this is a pattern that we see repeated in her police interview again and again and again. Not the exact thought about murdered, but her thoughts overall. So, without further ado, let's carry on with the actual analysis itself and see.
Yeah, and before we get into the actual analysis, again, everything that Veroscope was bringing up, right on the head. Everything that she tells us, everything that Chris Watts tells us, everything is a confession because they're telling us, oh, we didn't think that, or I didn't think this. And exactly in the chat, right? Oh, I didn't think it was a murder. I didn't think anything of it. Oh, she was missing for a day. I didn't think anything of it. My friends go missing all the time. They walk around the neighborhood barefoot. I don't think anything of it. They come back like 2 or 3 days later. It's not a big deal. That's what all the women in my circle do. All of them just go off and wander into the world without any of their belongings, and they're all fine. Really. There's no need to convince anybody of this if you don't actually believe that they were murdered. And so, again, lies, 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 lies. Yes, there are truth in the lies. Yes, exactly. The words that they use, what they don't say, the things that they didn't think happened, Those are all little truths just sprinkled in there because, again, they have to be able to tell some truth. Their body is reacting to the lies, and so they have to be able to use real memories of their relationship and what actually happened and sprinkle it in there and just change the dates, change the time, maybe even change the person that they were talking to. And so they're using some of that truth, but using lies as well and mixing it in there. And so it's very hard to catch it. But the thing is, it's not even that hard to catch it when you're paying attention. Kevin Koback just seems that he wasn't paying attention. No one in the room asked her any questions whatsoever. No one challenged her. So that is why we're doing this analysis now and really wondering why didn't anyone challenge her when it was so obvious that she was lying the whole time. Let's continue.
See what she has to say for herself today.
Bar that we used to go to. It's not the same, the Lazy Dog, but it's the one off of 144th and I-25.
And we heard this the last time, didn't we? So this is exactly where we left off. The Lazy Dog.
I think it's 144th up there.
And it's the Lazy Dog.
Yes.
Did he ever mention?
You see, even the way that she says the lazy dog, she's like, right? You saw her face, her eyes when she's thinking about which lazy dog is it. I think it's the one on 144th. Yeah, the lazy dog. What is that? It was a huge tick. That was a nervous tick, not an actual tick, right? She didn't go camping and has a huge tick on the side of her forehead, right? Sucking all the blood out. Even though maybe that's probably what happened. All the blood was sucked out of both of their brains when they went camping, and that's why they just weren't thinking. But this is what she's doing here. Her behavior is so obvious that there's something up with the lazy dog. Again, why the lazy dog? Why did they go to two separate lazy dogs? That's a question that I want to ask all of you. I'm going to add that as a question, actually. Here it is. I'm going to start a poll. Why do we think that they went to do two words today, you guys? Okay, I just got to drink more water. Why do we think that they went to two different lazy dogs? We have a belief that maybe they were meeting with somebody there and they went to the wrong one. I don't believe that they went to a separate lazy dog just because Nichol Kessinger wanted a different type of asparagus. I don't think so. Or she likes the way that the line cook makes the chips and salsa at the other restaurant and not the other one, right? It's the same restaurant. They're chain restaurants. A Big Mac at one McDonald's is the same Big Mac at another McDonald's. So I don't think that's why. So why do we actually believe it? Why do we think that they went to two different lazy dogs? So that's going to be the question. Why do we think that they went to two different lazy dogs? Why do we think they went to two lazy dogs? And this is, keeping everything in mind, keeping everything that Chris Watts said to his dad, and then the fact that Ronnie was like, I didn't know what he meant by that. But now I know. He sounded disappointed. It sounds like he knows exactly why he would rather go to the Rockies game and not the lazy dog. So why do we think he went to the lazy dog or they went to two lazy dogs? So we're going to say here to meet someone else. And if they were there to meet someone else, who was it? A lot of us speculate that maybe they were meeting Jim or someone else, right? Or what other reasons do we know? Maybe to throw off the police, right? That's another one that I've seen. Throw off the police. What's another reason? They saw someone there that knew Chris. Huh, interesting. They saw someone there that knew them. Oh wow. That's a very interesting thought. And the third one's just going to be different menu, which, come on, I don't think any of us believe that there's a different menu. I mean, even if there is a different menu, It's the lazy dog. You're really gonna get up and drive to another one just because they I don't know, they have a McRibs there that they don't have at the other lazy dog. I don't know. Okay, okay, different menu. All right. And then let's see here. Why do we think they went to the lazy dog? All right. Must contain 1 and 30. Well, I don't know why it's not letting me post it now. Oh, there we go. They saw someone that knew. Okay, it won't let me give a big question, a big sentence. So that knew them. It doesn't let me. Okay. Well, the last one is going to be someone that they knew. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the poll. I used too many characters in my poll, so it wouldn't let me finish the sentence. It was true that they saw someone that they knew. NK would have told that to Koback. He was aware that it was an affair. Oh, Tommy's girl, that's a very good point. If it was true that they saw someone there that they knew, then NK would have told Kevin Koback. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Yeah. Um, yes, since Nichol Kessinger is saying that at this point she's claiming that she knew that Chris was still in a relationship with Shanann, then she could say, yes, we saw someone that we knew and we left because we didn't want to be seen. But the thing is, at the same time, she was also still claiming that she didn't know. She's still claiming, oh, I don't know. He was going to leave his family. Maybe not. Probably. Right? So she's kind of on the fence saying that she knows, but she doesn't. And so who knows? Who knows though? Can anyone see their phone calls or texts at the same time at that time? Oh, any of their phone calls or texts during the time of the lazy dog? Is that your question, Emily? We can definitely let's go ahead and pull up those calls. At least we can pull up Nichol Kessinger's calls. We don't have Chris Watts or any of his information, but we can definitely pull up Nichol Kessinger and see what was going on during that time. So all right. Let's go ahead and pull up her deleted data. Okay, here it is. Okay, so the lazy dog, which was on Saturday, right? It was on Saturday. Let's go ahead and pull up our calendar as well. All right, here it is. Okay, so lazy dog was on Saturday the 11th. All right, Saturday the 11th. Let's go ahead and look at her phone calls. So here it is. It seems that they were talking in the daytime. So at 2:10 p.m., there was a call for 28 minutes, and then 2 other calls, and then another one at 10:31 p.m. So it looks like they probably met after this 28-minute call, and they were hanging out at this time or a little before 10:31 p.m., right? Because as we know, Chris Watts left the house around what was it, 6 or 7, if we remember correctly. Does anyone remember? Because he had the babysitter over. And so then he had to be at the Rockies game that he supposedly said he was going to be at a certain time. And so it looks like they went out for dinner. So we wonder, did they hang out? Let's see. Let's look at our calendar. So lazy dog, and then right, it's the get home safe text that same morning. There's also the get home safe from the Rockies game text, or sorry, headed home from the Rockies game that Chris sent to Shanann, which was obviously fake. And then we also have Shanann asking Chris to lock her office. So it seems that they were doing all of this, right? We see all of the activity on the 11th, and then we see them go to the lazy dog that same night. Probably never happened. They stayed there. No, never been to the lazy dog. Twister, 2 lazy dogs, Twister, and then home. Right. Yes. And we also know that as well. Yes. Thanks for bringing that up, Cosmo Bear. We know from Nichol Kessinger herself that she says, oh, yeah, he came over. We did it in my house. And then we left to the lazy dog. Came home. We did it again. And then he left. Again, it's very vague the way that she talks about how they did it. Where did they do it? Was it at her apartment? Do we really know that for sure? When we look at their calls, it seems that there was a call for 28 minutes. Did Chris go over her house or her apartment? Then he came back to his house. What do we know about that activity? This is still a mystery to us. We don't really know if they hung out and then hung out later on that night to go to the lazy dog. I think NK was using Jim to play Twister and make Chris jealous. Oh, playing them both, literally and figuratively. Huh. That's very interesting. It could be. It could be. I think, didn't Nichol Kessinger tell Chris that she was dating? Is that not one of the conversations that they were having? That she was downloading some dating app on her phone so that she can hang out with him? And, oh, I'm going to go date other people, Chris, if you're not sure about me. That type of behavior, I totally see that. But, all right, let's go ahead and continue with this. Yeah, I noticed the very bright screen right now is like hurting my eyes, my head. All right, let's continue.
I'm 44 than I 25.
And we heard this the last time, didn't we? So this is exactly where we left off. The lazy dog.
I think it's 144th up there.
And it's the lazy dog.
Yes.
Did he ever mention a Rockies game that night?
No, I don't think so. But the Broncos were playing.
Okay.
Which we couldn't see because they sat us in really crappy spots. But it's okay because it's preseason. But
Again, so much extra information. She doesn't have to say all of that. Notice the hesitation too. They asked her, right? Kevin asked her, was there any mention of the Rockies game? And she goes, no. But there was the Broncos game that was going on, which we couldn't even see because we were sitting all the way in the back and I was going, oh my God, that's crazy then. Again, deflection. That's all deflection. Everything we just saw right now was deflection. She knows that Chris Watts lied about the Rockies game. She knows that. That is why, in my opinion, she hesitated. That's why she did the because she didn't know whether or not to answer the question truthfully. She didn't know what to say. So she said, no, but the Broncos game, right? It's almost as if her body is telling her, here, use this other sports team, because she already hesitated too long. She didn't answer, or she didn't repeat the question, right? She didn't ask, oh, wait, what do you mean? The Rockies game? She didn't say that. And so instead of doing that, she did the to buy time, right? Cognitive time, from what we know from Veroscope. And instead she says, no, but the Broncos game. So I think that here, this is proof that she knows that Chris lied about the Broncos game, that he told Shanann that he was going to the Broncos game. And the reason I believe that Nichol lied and did the whole is because if she admitted that she did know about the Rockies game, then she would admit to knowing that Chris had told Shanann about this lie and that all of it was a plan, all of it from the very beginning. But what do you guys think? I don't believe she was dating anyone else. She told Chris Watts strictly for manipulation. Oh, absolutely. Yes. All of it was for manipulation. There was no way she was actively dating other men. She wanted Chris. Whatever it was, the lifestyle that she probably thought that he provided or whatever. It was Chris that she wanted this with, not other men, absolutely. But she was doing it to manipulate him, to get him to make him jealous, to get him to um decide on who he's going to go for. Me, Chris, or your family? Decide, because I'm not going to stay single for long, Chris. I'm a breath of fresh air, don't you know? Don't you know, Chris? Men, men love me. I'm not going to be single for too long, Chris, so you better decide. Meanwhile, I'm going to go talk to all these other men. Look, they all think that I'm pretty. Another one gave me a rose. What are you going to give me, Chris? And that's when Chris starts looking up. Oh, how much are the Dead Sea Scrolls? I want to prove to you, Nichol, I love you. I have more money than them. No, I don't. Oops, no, I don't. I don't have that much money, Nichol. Can we go to McDonald's instead? Right? Oh, God. He's checking constantly. He's checking his balance to see if he has enough money. Yep, manipulative. Exactly. Aw. Hey, Rox, my grandson just came over. I'll be listening. Aw, that's so cute. No worries, Connie. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello to your grandson from everybody. Hello. Yes, but again, right? Everything that Nichol Kessinger does, all of it, is an indication that there is deceptive behavior. Let's continue.
So do you recall what time you went there?
So one of the things that we look for in analysis is ingratiation with law enforcement, unnecessary ingratiation. Bear in mind, this is very soon after two little girls, and I'll use the language because it's true, two little girls have been put into oil tanks with difficulty because the hatch was small. They were forced into the oil tanks. Murdered by this woman's lover. She's giggling and laughing and to some degree flirting and attempting to raise a little bit of levity to the proceedings, as I once heard a judge say. And she's ingratiating. So we mark it as a deceptive marker under the circumstances. Let's carry on.
That's the word, ingratiating. That is what Nichol and Dwayne do through this entire interview, as we know. They are friendly. They are way too friendly with the police. Again, we're talking about 4 innocent victims, a pregnant woman and 2 children, a 3 and a 4-year-old, who were brutally murdered and disposed of. And these people are inappropriately laughing and giggling and preseason. Oh, the Broncos. I'm not a fan of the Broncos. I like the Ravens. I've never even been to Baltimore, but I just like them because I like birds, right? She goes down an entire list of why she likes birds and, laughing and giggling again. All of this is deceptive behavior. It's showing us that, one, she's not that cooperative, right? Just because she willingly showed up and said, "Hi, police, I want to talk to you." Just because she willingly showed up doesn't mean that she was cooperative. Everything that she's saying and what she refuses to say shows that she's not cooperative. And then the deflection and the flirting and trying to be buddy-buddy with the police, all of that is showing us that she's not at all that cooperative. Someone whose boyfriend just annihilated their family would not be sitting here making all these jokes and laughing about preseason. Hello? And so I'm so glad that Veroscope brought it up. Ingratiating. Very, very too much. It's gross. It's very like teacher's pet kind of like, "Oh my god, you like me, don't you, Kevin? Am I your favorite witness? Am I the best witness you've ever had? Yeah. Am I like the prettiest? What do you think? Do you think I'm the prettiest witness you've ever seen, Kevin? Oh, let me know at 2 a.m. Yeah, I'll be up. I'll have my phone on vibrate. If you get what I mean. Yeah, let me know. The whole time. The whole time being way too friendly with the police. Yeah, she was not cooperative at all. At all. I don't know what they meant. Oh, she's cooperative. Why? Because her lips are moving? She's lying. Mm. There is a code that women have. You don't steal or try to steal another woman's man. Yes, it's wrong. It's wrong. You just don't go after married people. Let's continue.
No. I remember, well, kind of. So he had to get a babysitter that night.
Do you know who that was?
Somebody who's really young. I remember I asked him who his babysitter was, and he's like, we have two. This girl's only 17, but the other one's out of town. So this girl's going to stay, and she doesn't do overnights, so I got to be back by 10. And I remember her saying that, and him saying that. And I don't know what time he got to my house. It was between, I want to say like 5:30. It might have been 5, but I don't think so, because I think the babysitter, if I remember correctly.
Now remember, I want to say means we mark it, because very often when a criminal says I would say or I want to say, it's a very subtle way to reduce the pressure of lying on their mind, because by saying, well, I would say, you're not actually saying what you did say. Do you see the very subtle difference? And every time the unconscious can buy a bit of cognitive relief from the stress, it chooses to do so, and it comes out in our language. So watch for it. Well,
Okay, Nichol Kessinger said that Chris supposedly got to her house at 5:30. Okay, so I wrote it down. 5:30, and then she goes and just like Veroscope said, right? She's like, I don't know. I want to say this time. I want to say maybe, perhaps. I can't remember. She knows the time that he showed up, but notice the words that she uses. I want to say. I can't remember. Oh, he told me this, and that's why I remember it was probably 10. And if we pull up the calls again, let's go ahead and pull up the call logs. She said that part, right? That part was correct. She knows the time that they left or that they got home because she said 10 p.m. I don't know. We got home around 10 p.m. Yeah, there's proof of that. There's an incoming call from Chris at 10:31, 51 minutes. So we know that the babysitter had to be out of there by 10 because it's backed by the phone logs. But, all right, let's go ahead and bring this up again. But since she can't back up the other one, right? We only have a call from 2:10 and then the next one is at 10:31. She can't say, oh, I don't know. I can't really remember what time. Just like everything else, she doesn't remember the sand dunes or what day she was there when they left. Nothing. Again, if this is your first time ever taking your boyfriend to the sand dunes, don't you think you're going to remember? That's a big event. Is it not? How is that not something to remember? Oh, I took my boyfriend for the first time camping on Saturday and we got there at 2 p.m. How do you not know that? What? Nicole's a psychotic and a stalker. Yes. Yes, definitely a stalker. We get stalker vibes and everything that she was Googling prior to even meeting the family. Look at her eyes. Look at her eyes. All right, let's continue.
now remember as well that just because you hear somebody say, well, I would say, 80, 90% of the time, it's perfectly normal. It's just the way they speak. They're not a criminal. They're describing going shopping or something. But because it is a marker, especially in criminal cases, we note it. And at conversational speed, get used to the way that somebody describes things as to what would happen, or what normally happens, or what usually happens, or I usually go to lunch at about 12, and I normally go to this place, and da da da. And all of these little hedging words can slip in, sometimes and mostly unconsciously, but sometimes deliberately, because the gaslighter and liar constantly tries to buy optionality. And if they've grown up lying, their language patterns constantly buy the hedge and the options. If you're ever interviewing somebody for a job, you'll notice immediately the hedging and optionality patterns. They've probably grown up in an environment where lying was necessary. Let's carry on.
Oh, that's very interesting. That they grew up in an environment where lying was necessary. And that's what we know about Chris. I believe that the environment that he grew up in was necessary for him to lie. He hid himself in the bathroom and cried, and no one even checked on him. He lied to his teachers, even about going to China for the summer. Why lie? Because he's a pathological liar. He's been used to lying, and it seems that the environment that Chris grew up in was perfect for someone who would grow up as a pathological liar, especially with narcissistic parents. And in the case of Nichol Kessinger, we see the same thing. We don't know too much about her life and her upbringing, but the things that we know about her, and we know that she has she has a history of violence, and the way that she talks, and of course everything that we know about the case, it does give us the impression that she also grew up in an environment where it was necessary for her to lie, to either gain, I don't know, gain sympathy from people, elevate herself in status, whatever the reason may be. It seems as though she grew up in an environment that allowed her to become a pathological liar. I agree. I can't imagine growing up with that mom. Exactly. Yes, Julie. Yes. And I do. Vic Noid brought up a very, very important point here. I just want to scroll back up and read this. Okay. So Chris has to be back home at 10 p.m., right? That is what we know. Don't have much time to change Lazy Dog locations. And they had Twister time before and after. Okay. So now we have a timeline. It seems that they went to the Lazy Dog from between 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that is 4 hours. All right. So 4 hours for them to drive there, right? Do whatever. And so this is what we're trying to get to the bottom of. If Chris left his left his house, Nichol Kessinger picked him up. Does that mean that they went back to Nichol Kessinger's apartment and had Twister time? Because that gives that, right? That eats up the 4 hours. How long did it take them to play Twister? Was it a quick game, right? Was it a quickie? Oh, let's just spin it twice. Oh, you won, Chris. It's over. Let's go eat. I'm hungry. Was it that quick? And then they went to the Lazy Dog and they spent, what, 3 hours at the Lazy Dog? Then they drove back home, played Twister again. Was it another quick one? Oh, Chris, yeah, you can win. It's okay. I'll give you this win. I don't want to do all of it. Right? Like, what was it? 4 hours. Okay. That's 4 hours that they went to the Lazy Dog. That is the timeline that I'm seeing. What do you guys think? So I'm just going to say the Lazy Dog timeline is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. He had to be back home by 10 p.m. Yes. Aw, Emily, it's so nice to actually work and keep up with the chat. It's Friday, girl. No one works on Friday. Look at me being a bad influence. It's Friday. See, back when I was in the Marine Corps, I was stationed in Hawaii, if you guys didn't know. I was stationed in Hawaii. And every Friday was Aloha Friday for us. So, hey, it's Aloha Friday. Aloha Friday means that you go into work at 7 and you're done by 10 p.m. or sorry, 10 a.m. You're done. Yeah. Just call it a day, Emily. Say, "Hey guys, it's Aloha Friday for me. Bye." Yeah, go get yourself a cocktail, a Mai Tai or something. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. You tell them I gave you the rest of the day off. No, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that, please. I'd be like, who gave you the day off? Fired. Yeah. What time was the receipt for the lazy dog? Yes. Good question. What time was the receipt for the lazy dog? Lazy dog receipt. Do we have that information? That's a good one, though. That's a good one to look into. Thank you for that. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
Showed up at like 4:30 or something, and he was like, I want to spend time getting my kids acclimated to her, and then I will come.
So his children didn't even know her.
Oh no, they knew her, but he was saying like he likes to like stay there for a little while. He doesn't just like walk out the door when they show up. It's like a transitional thing. And so that's why I'm saying I don't know how long it was. I want to say like 5:30, and then he had to be back by 10, so he left at like 9 something to be back by 10.
So he picks you up. What was he driving?
No, he didn't pick me up. He came to my house. We drove my truck.
Okay, so he gets to your house. You know what he was driving to get to your house?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he usually drives that Lexus, but
I'm pretty sure he probably drives that Lexus. Even the way that this woman is so petty. The pettiness level of Nichol Kessinger is on the extreme end, that she even despises a car. Okay? She despises an object. Right? Ugh. That Gatorade that she likes. Ugh. That color, blue. Ugh. She's so petty that even talking about the Lexus makes her want to throw up. That Lexus. Anything that has any connection to Shanann, she's petty about. She can't even hide it. She can't hide her disdain. She's talking about a car here. She's not even talking about the person. He probably drives that Lexus. Very jealous. Exactly. Very, very jealous. But apart from that, apart from the jealousy, we're getting into the timeline again. Okay. So 5:30. So between 5:30 and 10 p.m. So she says that Chris left at around 9. Okay. So somewhere around 9. Okay. So that means that their time is shorter now. So around 3 hours. Okay. And now she's saying here that she didn't pick him up. He drove to her place. And it was obviously the Lexus if he did drive, right? If he did drive, he had to take the Lexus. He couldn't drive his truck because of the GPS in his truck. And so he had to have gotten there in his Lexus. And then he took off from her apartment in the Lexus, right? That's the story that she's telling us. So we have that timeline, okay? So let's keep that in mind as we move forward because, again, a lot of contradictions in her story.
He doesn't always park it in my complex because the parking, there's not good spaces. So where you guys pick me up at, a lot of times he'll just park out there because there's room.
Okay.
So that kind of works so that because there's just not a lot of room in my apartment complex. But off the top of my head, I don't know what he was driving.
What kind of truck do you drive?
I drive.
Yeah. So the denial of the driving is interesting, isn't it? Did you notice how she tried to avoid being pinned down there? So she avoids being pinned down on vehicle and time and location. It's constant, isn't it? And this is why not everyone, this is why many people's gut feeling was set off that she's not being honest, that something is being hidden from us. Because your ability to spot gaslighting and liars and the truth is, I promise you, absolutely first class. You have that ability. You're human, you have it. And you've probably been ignoring it for a while. As we often do in life, we ignore our gut feeling, don't we? We make the wrong decision. We knew we shouldn't have done so. We knew we shouldn't have gone out with that person. We knew we shouldn't have stayed in that relationship. We knew we shouldn't have taken that job. We knew we shouldn't have worked for that guy. And on and on and on. Everyone's life story. You knew. And you'll know in the future. And this is why it's important to watch. I know I'm selling a little bit for you to subscribe and join the channel and join in. But honestly, and honesty can be a deception marker, by the way, but I mean it. It's worth knowing. It really is. It's worth knowing. And we've got 180 or so videos now, and they're all in a format of teaching. And it's completely free. There is an upgrade path to the membership, which I...
All right. Reading the chat. Yes. So, just Josie's. Didn't the babysitter say Chris was picked up by someone? No, I think the babysitter didn't specifically say that Chris was picked up by anyone. She doesn't remember. So when Kevin Koback asked her if Chris was picked up by someone, she doesn't remember. But she does remember the truck being parked outside because she specifically remembers when Bella and Cece were pointing to the dad's car. They were like, "Yeah, that's dad's car. That's daddy's car." And they were pointing to Chris's work truck. And so unfortunately, no, the babysitter doesn't remember, or she doesn't know. She wasn't paying attention really to how Chris left. But the interesting thing is that she's adamant, as Cosmo Bear says, yes, she's very adamant that no, she did not pick Chris up. He drove to her house. That's what happened. And then they drove to the Lazy Dog in her car. That's what she's trying to say here. That's what she's trying to convince everyone, that we drove my car to the Lazy Dog. Again, okay, who drove the car? But we don't know. We don't really know if it was Chris who drove to her apartment or if it was Nichol Kessinger who picked him up from the house. My belief is that she picked him up. I don't believe that he drove to her house. I believe that she picked him up. They drove to the Lazy Dog to plan stuff, whatever they were planning, and then they came back. She probably waited somewhere, and then once the babysitter left, once the girls were asleep, they came back to his house, and then they played Twister. Then she got home, and then it's when she gets home that Chris calls her. Let's go ahead and look at the phone records. Again, that is just my theory. That is my theory so far, based on what we have seen, and the evidence on this. But that is what I believe. I believe that it was Nichol Kessinger who picked him up. She picked him up from the house, and she dropped him off and stayed there. And that is where they had Twister Night. Because if they had Twister Night at her apartment, that means that Danielle was there, right? Danielle was also there, her friend. And so was Danielle in on it? Was she listening? Did she wear earmuffs? She's like, "It's okay. I don't want to listen to whatever you guys are doing next door. No, it's okay. I don't want to play. I don't like that game, actually. I don't like how slippery it gets. Gross. No, I'll just watch Breaking Bad or something. It's okay." I think it's more possible, right? I think the possibility that they had twister time at his house, right? At the Watts residence is more likely because if the girls were asleep and the babysitter was gone, then they can have twister time downstairs in the basement, in that bed, that one in the corner, very far away from the girls. The girls can't hear anything. The girls didn't see anyone. They didn't see Nichol Kessinger come in. You can't hear anything all the way in the basement. What do you guys think? Look at my comments. Let's see. There's no way she picked him up. Chris Watts drove the Lexus. Okay. Why is there no way that Nichol Kessinger picked him up? It snuck in her house and probably through the basement. Yes. Yeah, see, this is what I believe that they snuck in through the basement. But there's no way that she picked him up. Okay. Why? Why is there no way that she picked him up? Yeah, if there's absolutely no way that she picked him up, then he would drive to her apartment. Then it would be more possible, of course, that, that they had twister time at her apartment. But I don't really know. I don't really know why she wouldn't be able to pick him up. She said multiple times that he drove to her house in a car. She can't remember, of course, and then they went in her car. Okay. But the babysitter's mom was out in front of her car, saw him come in the Lexus. They asked her in the interview. Okay, so this is regarding the babysitter's mom then. The babysitter's mom said that she saw him come home in the Lexus. Oh, okay. So we have an eyewitness that saw Chris come home in the Lexus? Okay. So the babysitter's mom is apparently an eyewitness. Okay. And it was just him. The babysitter's mom got to the house before Chris got home. Oh, okay. The babysitter dropped off from her mom, and the babysitter told investigators that he drove. No one picked him up. Mom saw him. Oh, okay. So there's a video of him getting cash. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, I have seen that one. Okay, so maybe that's possible. She rode home with him that night because she was going to drive Shanann's Lexus and frame her as taking the girls. Okay, I love it. Guys, I love this this chat and all of the information that we're getting from here. That makes a lot of sense. So I haven't seen the babysitter's interview yet, but if there is an eyewitness who actually saw Chris return in the Lexus, then he did drive. Okay. Now I wonder, did the babysitter see only Chris? Of course she must have, right? Or was there someone else in the car hiding? Because that would actually make sense why Nichol Kessinger would have to call if she needed to be picked up by Jim. But that is very interesting. Let's go ahead. I'm going to write all of this down. I guess the next thing that we need to listen to is the babysitter's mom's testimony, which I haven't listened to yet. Awesome. Yes, because the mom would have seen her. No one else was in the car because Nichol Kessinger was home Googling Ronnie Watts and the address at 10:04 p.m., 4 minutes apart. Oh, so 4 minutes after Chris left. And then Chris got home at 10:31. Okay, so then Chris got home at 10:31-ish, right? 10:30-ish is what we have here. So then Chris got home, and that is when he called her. Got it. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for clarifying that for everybody. Okay, yeah, I definitely see that. So that does make sense. There is an eyewitness testimony that saw Chris come back in the Lexus, and so we know that he drove in the Lexus. Thank you so much for that. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and add that to the calendar so that we don't bring this up in the future and get confused about it. So let's go ahead and add that to this calendar here. So the same day, so Chris Watts drove Lexus to NK. And that, I'm going to just go ahead and say that this has been confirmed because of the eyewitness testimony from the babysitter's mom. Amazing. This is great, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's awesome. So now we have for sure Chris Watts drove to her apartment. Okay. And then he got back home and then he called her. And then here we have Sunday, right? Now we have Sunday, the day where Nichol Kessinger doesn't remember what she was doing. She doesn't remember she went to the museum with her dad. And everyone is trying to get their alibi in check, trying to make sure that they have everything in order. Yes, amazing. Okay. All right. So then my theory is out the window. My theory is out the window because we have eyewitness testimony. Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and continue.
I have been ignoring for a little bit because I'm putting out so many of the normal videos, and I've been developing a lot of the Veroscope systems. So I do apologize for that if you have joined as a member. I very much appreciate your support.
Inside the bar.
When you walk in, you just hang a right, and we were like one of the first two booths on the right when you walk in the door.
Okay.
It's just not it's a good spot, but just not for the TVs. And we actually went to the other Lazy Dog. We went to the one that you and me go to. Where's that at? Federal and
20th.
It's 120th and Federal, and we went there, and they have a different menu, and I was like, I don't want to eat this food, so we should go to the other one.
So initially you go to the 120th
Yes.
location. Did you actually get seated?
Kind of, sort of. They were like cleaning off a table, and we were standing there just kind of looking at the beer menu and the food menu, and I was like, I don't want this. And so we left.
So most people, if they're asked, did you get seated? They say no. Oh, yes, we did. But Nichol, her entire pattern, she can't help herself. Kinda, sorta. It's just constant. Kinda, sorta. Never a straight answer. Always a pontification of having to listen to her diatribe for 2 or 3 minutes when yes or no would have done just as well. Let's carry on.
I brought this up. I have brought this up in the past, how Nichol Kessinger says sorta, kind of. What does that mean? You show up at a restaurant, someone hands you menus. Did you get sat at your table, yes or no? But again, the way that she answers the question, it's not clear. She doesn't want to answer it very directly at all. She doesn't answer it directly. Not at all. Okay, sorry, where were we? All right. Yeah, she says kinda, sorta, which means what, really? Why is she even lying about something as small as getting sat at the table? What do we think about that? Sorta, kinda means she's lying. Exactly. Sorta, kinda, yes, it's very vague. Exactly, liberal cat lady. Very vague. And again, even the way that she talks about the Lazy Dog, she turns over to her dad to seek that validation, or almost to have her accomplice, not even her accomplice, but the buddy that is in her corner have her back. Oh, you know the one that we go to, Daddy? What is it? The one, yeah, that one. Yeah, I didn't like it though because a different menu. We went to the other one instead. And then Kevin asked her, did you get sat at the table? She says, kind of, sorta. We got there. There was a server who was new. They had just gotten hired, I guess. Maybe. I don't really know. But they were cleaning the table. The table was a little dirty. There was a crumb on the left upper right hand corner. The crumb seems to have come from a small chip because of the chips and salsa. And so, because of that, they didn't sit us down. Again, she has so much information about other things. She knows the environment. Oh, she knows that the Broncos were playing. Oh, but she couldn't see it because of the angle. She remembers the server. She remembers their name and every other detail. But did you get sat at the table? I don't know. That's a hard question. Ask me something easier, please. Can you ask me another question? Ask me something about chemistry. I can answer chemistry. That's very, very easy for me. But ask me what I did on Sunday? I don't know. She's playing dumb. A lot of it is just Nichol Kessinger playing dumb. It means hedging, but reveals nothing in her answers. Yes. She says a lot, reveals nothing in her answers. She won't give a solid answer, so she can use plausible deniability. Yes. Look at you guys. Look at all of us. We're all experts. Learning so much from Veroscope. Yes, she's using plausible deniability. She's not giving a solid answer because if they come back and they see whatever answer was given, she can say, well, that's not what I said. I said kinda, sorta, okay? I didn't say yes, and I didn't say no. And so saying kinda, sorta means that she can always backtrack. She can always say, that's not what I said. You misunderstood what I said. Putting the blame, right, or putting the responsibility on the listener. Aw, thanks, Eric Lisa. A lot of Nichol Kessinger's interviews are a lot of lies and deception with little irrelevant truth sprinkled in. Exactly. Yes, a bunch of deception with truths. All of it is sprinkled in there. The way that she talks, what she says, and what she doesn't say are all the little truths that all of us are trying to pick out. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't like onions. Do you like onions? Whoever likes onions, I don't like onions. But it's almost as like when someone cooks dinner and they're like, "Here you go." And I'm looking at it and I'm like, "Oh, there's food. Yeah, but there's also a bunch of onions." And so I'm having to pick out the onions from the food. There's so much food and then there's onions in there and I'm like, "Oh, yes, there's a piece of meat. Oh, there's an onion in there. Let me just pick that out real quick." We're trying to pick it out. Yes, cleaning off the table for NK. Right. Yes. I want to hear from the waiter or the waitress that served them. Yes, so do I. Essences of truth. Can't stand onions. Oh, yes. Awesome. I can't stand onions. Onions and olives are two things that I just can't eat, you guys. Just fun fact. Fun fact. Love onions. Sandy loves onions. Lots of people love onions. I don't know how you guys like onions. I do like the flavor that it gives the food. I just don't like to eat the onion itself. It's just weird. I don't like the way that it. Ugh. Mm. There's just the mouth feel, right? Like, and it's an onion, and you're like, oh God, that's an onion. Welcome, welcome, Lily. Welcome to Silver. When did the live start? Oh, it started at noon. We started at noon today, just a little hour later. All right, let's continue.
That's what happens. They get hired.
And
Oh, I think I was probably a little more behind, wasn't I? A little. Okay, let's see here.
But it's not. If you listen closely and read the transcript, it's littered with hedging, not being tied to a timeline, can never quite remember, won't come. It's just constant. She is not being helpful. She is deliberately being unhelpful. She is withholding information. I mean, we don't even need to convince anyone. She's deleted her telephone intelligence and data and told the murderer, Chris, to do the same. This is not the actions of an innocent woman whose maniac boyfriend has murdered his 2 little girls and his wife. Her language is someone that perhaps knew. That's what I think. I think she knew. And I think she knew in advance, but I don't think it involved the children.
Ooh, that's where I disagree with Veroscope. I do believe that it involved the children too, of course. It's the only part that I disagree with him on. I do believe that she knew everything that was going to go down, obviously, because she was the one that was pressuring him to do it, and the children included. Every time she talks about Bella and Cece, she doesn't talk about them as someone who actually wanted to meet them or someone who cared about the children. She talks about them as almost just, I don't know, they exist very far away from me. Every time that she describes how small they were, it's very specific, but she distances herself even from how she describes how tall they are. They were like this big. Oh, those little girls. Those little girls, they were like this big. Oh, I tell him, this is for your daughters, this is for your little girls, the Lucky Charms. It doesn't seem genuine. This is not a woman that genuinely likes children, even. I don't think she likes kids. Definitely not Chris Watts' kids. Let's think about this. If Nichol Kessinger doesn't even like Lexus, she doesn't like a car, a make and a model, because it is related to Shanann, why on earth would Nichol Kessinger be okay with the girls? Why would she be okay with babies when she's not even okay with a Lexus? That's how petty she was, that she didn't like houses that looked that way. She didn't like white Lexuses. She was probably driving down the street and saw a white Lexus and was like, ugh, ugh, trying to run them off the road. I hate you. I hate those cars. She was so incredibly immature, even about the way that she went about this entire relationship, that there is no way that I will ever be convinced that she wanted the best for the children. There is no way on earth. No way in hell I will ever believe that she wasn't going after the children as well. But I will make clear, I still don't believe that Nichol Kessinger killed Bella and Cece. I don't think that she physically did it. Okay, that is the only thing that I will say. I don't think she did it. I do believe, though, that part of the plan was to get rid of them as well. But that is just my opinion, and I haven't seen any evidence to point to her actually physically doing the deed. But you guys let me know what you think. Envy and jealousy for sure. Yes. Yes, completely agree, Rox. I thought NK said she wanted kids with him. Oh, totally. Yeah, she did. She did say she wanted kids with him. Not because she likes kids. In my opinion, it's not because she wanted kids and because she liked kids in the same way that Shanann wanted to be a mother. See, this is the difference, is that Chris wanted kids. Shanann wanted to be a mother. There's a difference between wanting children and wanting to be a parent. And Nichol Kessinger wanted children not because she wanted to be a parent, but because it's the best way to trap a man. in my opinion. That is what she believed. She believed that if she gave Chris a boy, the one thing that he always wanted, she would trap him forever. He would never leave because she would have trapped him with a boy, with a child. Again, not because she wanted to be a parent, not because she wants to be a mother. She has like motherly instincts. Oh, I want to care for others other than myself. Hell no, absolutely not. No, she wanted a child to use him, to use Chris, to manipulate Chris. Again, that is just my opinion. What do you guys think? Can you imagine her as a mom? Oh my gosh, I can't. No, I can't. Even though he calls her a Jezebel. Yes. Yes. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes. We all think alike. We all see, we all see through her lies. That's why we're all here together in this, because we know that she's guilty of something. Even if we don't know exactly what she did and exactly the timeline and everything that went down, we know. We know that everything that she's saying is a lie. And Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico would probably still be here had it not been for this particular person. Chris Watts is still psychotic, though. So let's continue.
And then he left.
Do you recall what time he left?
Off the top of my head, no. I remember he was like gonna be late to be back at 10. I think there's a text message where he starts texting me when he's home at his house.
Okay.
So you can probably figure that out. And I remember I texted him back and I was like, damn, that was cool.
Yeah, you can probably figure that out. There's a lot that she doesn't want him to figure out, and she's ensuring that she doesn't help him to. And what's at the top of her mind? Remember, the language at the top of their mind. Figuring things out.
Exactly, Boops. Thank you. Yes. Nichol Kessinger would never have been a stepmom to those girls. I think Nichol Kessinger did do Cece, but could not do Bella. And that's why Chris Watts was mad when Bella walked in. Interesting. Huh. Very, very interesting. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. I have seen that many of you believe this, and I have been, I will say I have been going down that route as well. Some of you do believe that she may have killed Cece, but not Bella. And the way that Chris Watts reacts to this is, it's definitely, I see why you all believe this. And so I have been going down that rabbit hole as well. And so, yeah, thank you for bringing this up. I'll definitely look into that. There's so many other videos that you guys want me to watch on this particular theory, as well as Gino. I know that some of you want me to watch videos about Gino or the Russian concussion and theories surrounding maybe who killed the girls. But yeah, I do see that. This is why Chris was mad when Bella walked in. Huh. I never saw it that way. Thank you for that. Why did the police decide she had nothing to do with it? I don't get it. Exactly. I don't either. They could have held her for something, at least tampering with evidence. That's a thing. She tampered with evidence. She lied. Why is lying to the FBI not a criminal offense? She obviously lied. That is a very clear and can be proven that she lied. Lots of rabbit holes in this case. Yes. I think they put opiates in the girl's shakes. Huh, interesting. She should be charged with obstruction of justice at bare minimum. Exactly. Obstruction, tampering with evidence, lying to police. There are 3 charges just there. Very, very clear, black and white. She did it. She did these 3 things. So she could have at least been charged with any one of those things, and she didn't. Obstruction. Let's continue.
quick, or wow, that was really quick. He's like, yeah, I even had time to stop at the ATM or stop at the gas station, stop somewhere to get money to pay the babysitter.
Okay.
And I was just like thinking like, well, that was really fast. But I think he was still like a little late coming back, but nothing too drastic.
And I was just like, and I think, but nothing too drastic. It's yin, it's yang, it's yin, it's yang. It's just, it might, it possibly, it would do. I would say, I might say, yes, no, possibly, pretty much, a little bit, about. It's constant. Do you see it?
So he probably left my house like somewhere.
Yes, it's constant. All right, I ended the poll. 50%, so half, almost half, we believe that the reason that they went to the Lazy Dog was because they were meeting someone else there. So that is the majority. Okay. And 40%, so very, very close, someone saw them there. So someone was at the Lazy Dog that either knew Chris or Nichol Kessinger, and that's why they left. And 10% believe that it was to throw off the police. Very good, very good. Okay. I never even thought about the possibility that someone saw them there, so that's very interesting. I'm glad that we did this poll because it gives us a better view, I guess, or a better idea of what the possibilities can be. Veroscope is pretty funny. He is. He's very funny. I love that he doesn't hold back. You know, this is a professional, right? Body language and deception detection. And they're talking very scientific, right? Scientific details. But I do love that he doesn't hold back. He doesn't hold back because it's so obvious. He sees what we see and is also shocked that only one person is serving prison time right now. Let's continue.
Around 9:30ish.
All right.
Somewhere around 9:30-ish. She can't help it. She cannot talk normally. This is not something new to her. These types of individuals, they're quite common, by the way. You'll often see them as work colleagues. You will. They get in somehow. Very dangerous individuals. They can wreck a department at work. They can wreck a marriage. They can wreck a company if you let them hang around for too long. Literally everyone else will leave. Very, very dangerous individuals. Very common in the workplace. And of course, if you've got somebody in HR interviewing who's got absolutely no idea how to interview, but perhaps hires someone that they got on with for a little bit, for an hour, or happens to be available, that's what happens. They get hired.
And
I love this. I love that he brought up that she can wreck a marriage, a department, and an entire company. That's almost what she did. She did wreck an entire department at Anadarko. She wrecked an entire marriage. I don't believe that that's the reason that Anadarko went bankrupt. Of course, the company was having a lot of issues, but it's just so funny. It's ironic that Nichol Kessinger ended up working at Anadarko and then they ended up going bankrupt. They don't exist anymore. So yeah, she's very dangerous. And he's calling out this type of behavior is something that we see in the workplace. We meet people that are like this. And now that we're watching Veroscope, we're able to detect this type of behavior in other people. And so I love that we're doing this not only because we're exposing Nichol Kessinger's lies, but it helps us in our own personal lives to be able to keep these types of people out of our lives. Because, yes, 100% people like these do destroy marriages and departments and whole communities if you let them. They are toxic people. Very, very toxic. Too many gift cards were given out. Yes, bankrupted Anadarko with all the gift cards. You get a gift card, and you get a gift card, and you get a gift card. We're all out of gift cards. Yay! All out of $100 gift cards. She had a whole stack, and all of them are gone. Yes, very, very demonic. I need help with a narcissist in my life. Oh no, Tommy's girl. Well, that's what we're here for. We are all here as a community to help one another. And like I said, I love that we're watching this together because we are able to figure this out in even the people that we know in our lives today. He must have been stashing them from Shanann. Therapy is good. Therapy is very good. Therapy allows you to see these kinds of things. And therapists, they use a lot of these same vocabulary, hedging, cognitive, cognitive time, because this is what narcissists do even in the workplace and in our own personal relationships with them. But yeah, let us know. Let us know what you all need. If there's narcissists in your life, we're all here. We're all here together. We're going to find out who they are, and then we're going to find ways to keep them out of our lives. Let's continue.
And you go straight home. He texts you.
Well, I was already home.
Right? No, he texts you. He goes straight home from your house, and he texts you that he's home. Mm-hmm. So that should be in your text message.
It should be. I'm pretty positive that was not a phone call. I'm almost positive that was a text. Sometimes I get them flip-flop, or I don't remember, but sometimes I know. I'm pretty sure that one was a text.
Saturday, during your dinner, what kind of conversation?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Are you hearing it?
What did you guys have?
I don't even remember. So he's been trying to eat a little healthier than he normally does, and he's always been in the working out since I knew him, and he tries to eat clean, but he was trying to step it up a little bit, and nothing like the people who do the competitions and the shows that are all super restrictive. I mean, it's nothing like that. It's just day-to-day general maintenance, but it's how I eat, and it's pretty healthy. And
nothing like that. Nothing competition, but it's how I eat. I'm not really something like that. But he's just trying to get into shape because he's been working out ever since I met him. But nothing crazy. He's not working out really hard. He's not. He's trying to bulk up, but he's trying to bulk up, but just not too much. Not those big guys at the gym that you see, but maybe something just a lot smaller. But he was telling me it. What? This whole rant that she just went on, again, deflection. All of it is deflection. She just comes up with so many stories on the side. Oh, I knew him. Ever since I met him, he's been working out. But not like this. Why do we care about all this extra information? No one cares, Nichol Kessinger. Kevin doesn't care about Chris's date, or what is it, his weight plan or his diet. No one in this room cares about Chris Watts's macros or his body type. No one. Everyone is going to know what his body type is later on when they take photos of him for evidence. But she's over here talking about things that don't matter yet again. Taking up time. This entire interview was 3.5 hours long, And for 3.5 hours, she talked about nothing. Zero information. All of it was a bunch of BS. She's a dreadful bore. With Veroscope's accent. Yes. Aw, bye, Tiger. See ya. Take care. Take care. Have a good weekend. Take care for now. But yes, right? This is all we're seeing. She's just talking about diets and wasting time. Saying a bunch of things, wasting energy, wasting everyone else's energy. All she's doing is saying things that don't matter. All of it is deflection. Let's continue.
He's been losing a lot of weight. He lost, I want to say, like 13 pounds in the time that we were hanging out. And honestly, when you start eating a little bit cleaner and you start working out a little bit harder, the first couple months, especially for a man, because they lose weight faster, it's not something that's like that drastic to me, but it did stand out that it was like a little much. And so I was like, whoa, like maybe you're not eating enough macronutrients, so let me look at them. So he had been working on his MyFitnessPal app and like programming like all the stuff he eats, and I just started going through them, and I was like trying to figure out like where his ratios were, and we actually spent a lot of time doing that because he'd asked me to do it for him, because I just was at the point where I was like, if his weight loss slows down in a few weeks, he'll be fine, and if it doesn't, then his macros are a little off. It's not like that big of a deal like in the workout community. This is like a very normal thing. But
Did you have any other outside concerns like potential drug use, alcohol use, any of that?
In the workout community. She considers herself part of a workout community. You wouldn't know, Kevin. You're a little flabby. I can see it right there. Is that a love handle sticking out of your side? Yeah. You wouldn't know. But anyway, in the workout community, macros count. Even the way she talks to the investigator, you wouldn't know. I'm the expert here. I'm the one that has this lifestyle. Did you see my bicep when I came in this morning, Kevin? Yeah, that's a lifestyle. Get it together, Kevin. These two are why women prefer dad bods. Boring. Thanks, Boops. That's amazing. These two are why women prefer dad bods. Yes. Yes, she's so superior. Look, oh, all the macros matter. That is when I told Chris, oh, it's probably because of your macros. Here, give me your phone, Chris. Here. I'm going to help you with that app. I'm going to help you get dialed in. That's something that we use in the workout community, Kevin. Write it down. Write it down in your little notebook. Dialed in. And then I helped him with the MyFitness app, and I saw that his micros and his macros were, in fact, not dialed in. And so that's why I told him, you need more chicken and you need more carrots. Perhaps throw some little asparagus in there. Greens help. She talked about Chris's workout plan. For how many minutes? Forever. 1 minute is too much because none of it is relevant to the case. None of it. All she had left was an anodarica and some stationery. So controlling, can't stand her. Dial in, Kevin. Exactly. Dial it in, Kevin. You're looking a little flabby. If you want help, call me. Call me. The best time to call me is at 2 a.m. That is when my brain is really awake. I bet if you asked her what she ate, oh yes, I bet if you asked her during the 111-minute phone call what she ate, she probably wouldn't know, Carolette. Probably not. If she ate during the 111-minute phone call and you asked her, she would not know. Wait, did I eat? I don't know. When was the last time I ate? That was probably on Friday, Kevin. I don't even remember eating on Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Yeah, I didn't eat. As she claims to be starving, and there is a bag of chips. The investigators brought her a bag of chips, remember? Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. I can't remember the answers to any of these questions because I'm so fatigued. I'm so hungry. Yet she hasn't taken a single bite of a single chip in this bag. Let's continue.
That stuff that led you to go, oh, he's lost an extreme amount of weight in such a short period of time.
No, and I wouldn't call it extreme. It was just like, it was a lot, but I mean, when I first started working out, I dropped like 12 pounds in 2 weeks when I first started like hitting it hard with the diet. So the fact that he lost like that much weight, it wasn't, like I said, it was not a surprising amount. I just didn't want it to be like a sustained amount. But no, I didn't think anything weird of it just because of like how knitted I am with the like workout community, and I know like this is possible. But it just, the thing that concerned me about it, I guess, and it wasn't even concerned, but the thing that like kind of red lighted me like, hey, this might be carrying on, is the fact that his macros were like pretty dialed in. Like I had wrote them and he like didn't stay exactly on them, but his calorie intake was about where it needed to be, my experience anyways, for like what he was trying to achieve. And so I don't know, he didn't seem to have a problem with it. He liked where he was at with all of that.
So that was your main conversation Saturday?
That was like a big chunk while we were there, is like us actually going through, because I was like going through each item like, why are your ratios off?
Do you know where his kids or wife were that night?
On Saturday?
Yeah, his kid.
Oh, please. This is laughable. This is laughable. She's claiming that the whole time that they were hanging out at his house, all they talked about were why his macros are not dialed in. That's it. Yeah, that's basically it. That's all we talked about. Yeah. And that's because I'm very tight knit in my community of working out. I know all of this stuff. Again, she's full of shit. She's full of shit. She's lying here. Everything she said was a lie. That is not what they talked about. At the very beginning of the video of Veroscope, he talks about saying things, right? Or admitting to things that no one asked her about. And here she is talking about the macros, the micros, the intake of calories, the water intake. What is your BMI? What's your bone density, Chris? Maybe you should get your bone density checked. Maybe you might have a little spongy radius. Check your femur. What's the weight of your femur? That is what they talked about? Really? Come on. Come on. She's not dialed in anymore. Kessinger said she was feeling sick to eat the chips. Jim was too. Yes. I wonder if they breathed the fumes from the oil tanks. Yes, that is a very big theory, is that these two, right? So Nichol Kessinger and Jim, her friend, were sick that day because of the fumes that they inhaled. So it's possible. It's possible. Let's continue.
About where it needed to be, my experience anyways, for like what he was trying to achieve. And so I don't know, he didn't seem to have a problem with it. He liked where he was at with all of that.
So that was your main conversation Saturday?
That was like a big chunk while we were there, is like us actually going through, because I was like going through each item like, why are your ratios off?
Do you know where his kids or wife were that night?
On Saturday?
Yeah, his kid. Well, you know his kids are with the babysitter. Do you know where his wife is?
She's in Arizona.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because he told me.
Okay. Do you know what she's doing there?
I think she's on a business trip. He didn't even tell me right away. He actually told me, I think, like on Saturday or something. It might have been like Friday or something. I honestly don't remember. I just remember I was like really surprised where he's like, hey, like, I'm going to try to get a babysitter if you want to hang out or something like that. And I was like, why do you need a babysitter? Like, your wife's home. He's like, no, she's out of town. I was like, oh.
Okay. Is there much conversation regarding that?
Why do you need a babysitter? Your wife's home. No, she's out of town. Oh. Okay. Really? We are not. No, I don't believe that Chris told her the day of. Come on, really? This couple, they were up each other's butts all the time, sniffing each other constantly. And she expects people to believe that Chris let her know, oh, my wife isn't here. I'm getting a babysitter in case you want to come over. Oh, I didn't know. She's gone? I had no idea. Come on. This is August we're talking about. August, the day that Shanann left for Arizona. Let's pull up the calendar. This is August. Right here. She left for Arizona on the 10th. And Nichol Kessinger is saying, I don't know when he told me. Saturday, maybe. And then goes, Friday, maybe. Saturday, maybe. I don't know. One of those 2 days. He didn't even really tell me before. He told me kind of the last minute. Again, that is her giving too much information. The fact that she says he didn't even tell me before, he told me at the last minute, is her telling on herself. She is admitting that Chris did tell her ahead of time and not on the 10th, as she's claiming. That's what she's claiming. She's claiming, oh no, he didn't tell me. He told me last minute. Oh, BS. Chris and Shanann returned to Colorado on the 7th. On the next day, Chris canceled his Facebook. We are expected to believe that Nichol Kessinger was not in communication with him after he got back from North Carolina, and that she didn't know that Shanann had another work trip coming up. Of course she did. She needed to know when Shanann was out of town so that they can hang out together. So of course she knew. Let's continue.
On being on a trip or the children on during those conversations?
Not really. I just asked him what time she was coming home on Sunday, and he just said really late.
Okay.
And that was it. I mean, there's nothing really to talk.
Not really. That was it. There's nothing. Are you picking up the patterns? So what would happen if you were talking to her is by picking up the patterns, your radar would go on. I know in the comments I'm going to get 5 or 6 people saying they would never talk to her after 10 minutes because they would know. And you're right, you would know. That's what I was saying. Your gut feeling is perfect. But now you would also pick up the pattern as to why you knew. And that's the difference. So by watching the Veroscope videos and understanding the actual linguistic patterns, then you'll know why you had that feeling about them. And that's the difference. When you can connect the why to the feeling, your ability to detect deception and others lying to you goes through the roof. I mean, literally. When I say through the roof, I'll give you a realistic number. 3 times as good, 4 times as good, quickly. And a lot better over the course of 6 months. But literally 3 or 4 times as good as you were within days or a week, more realistically.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, is you don't have to be an expert because we are all human beings. We all have a natural ability to detect when someone is lying to us. We can tell. It is our gut instinct. That's why it's called a gut instinct or intuition for a reason. Because it is built in our biology. It is part of our survival instinct. We are communal, right? We are humans as people. We like community. We bond with others. That is how we survive as a species. We have to bond with other people. And so if a species as us, if we survive by bonding with other human beings, then a survival instinct that we have is to be able to tell when someone is dangerous, when we shouldn't bond with someone. So knowing or at least having this ability of knowing when someone might be lying to us, when someone is being deceptive, when someone is being sketchy, you have that feeling. We feel it. And it's the same feeling that we have every time that we watch Nichol Kessinger. We don't have to be at all experts, but we know that she's lying based on the experience that we have, based on our life and every bond that we have created with people, with our families, with friends. We know these things already. And so I'm very glad that Veroscope brings this up, because at least now we have different words. We can describe what a lie is based on this type of scientific research. We know when someone is hedging. We know when someone is taking cognitive time to come up with an answer. So even though we already had those instincts ourselves, now we can at least call it by name. And that is what I love about these videos here.
Isn't that good? Isn't that good? And this is a lifetime skill, being able to tell the difference between truth and fabrication is a lifetime skill which I think has been underestimated by lots of people.
Talk about with that.
Okay. So your conversation's mainly health.
Yes, it is a lifetime. Veroscope said it himself. It is a lifetime skill that is underestimated by a lot of people. And I think it's because of the same reason. I think that a lot of us hesitate to say things because we don't have that background, right? We don't have that degree. We don't have the accolades that back up our instinct. And so that is why I believe that a lot of us take that skill for granted. It's because, again, a lot of us think, oh, it's just my opinion, right? Oh, it's just my opinion. I'm not an expert in this. I don't have the training. But we don't have to have the training. The training is already biologically innate, it is already in our bodies. That is how we are able to detect danger. And so, please, right? We're all in this trying to figure out the truth in this case, but it also helps our own lives. And so, yeah, definitely. The gut feelings that you have, any intuition, any weird feeling, please listen to that, because we just keep seeing tragedy after tragedy, atrocity after atrocity, murder after murder. And knowing these things and trusting your gut and trusting your instinct can save your life. Let's continue.
Related. You guys return to your house, and then he goes home, and then you talk to him for a few hours on Sunday.
Did I? Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, I was like...
Did you hear that? The attempt to wrestle control and the subservient, slightly sycophantic giggle from the officer.
You talked to him for a few hours on Sunday.
Did I? Are you asking me or are you telling me?
I'm asking you.
Right. See, this is almost a direct refusal to cooperate. Did I? Are you asking me or telling me? The arrogance with two little girls stuffed into an oil tank, injured because the entrance of the oil tank was so small. And this individual is, are you asking me or are you telling me? Huh? Because, I'm not going to give you information. Ain't going to happen, she told him on day one. She told us on day one, ain't going to happen. And the officer is still dancing around the rose bushes, still being sycophantic, still being subservient, because he thinks that he needs her. He should have already recognized he's not going to get anything out of her that he wouldn't get. She needs.
See, and this is why I don't go easy on Kevin, because he should have already known this by now. He should have known that Nichol Kessinger was not going to help in the investigation. All of this is so obvious. It's clear to every single person in this chat room right now, watching this video, watching Veroscope. Anyone that knows, right, that Nichol Kessinger is involved more than she says she is. We know this because of everything that she has been saying. But somehow, this guy didn't pick up on it. Why? Why? That's why I'm not easy on him at all. He knew he was not going to get any information. This was not even help. All of it was just placating. He was placating Nichol Kessinger so that she wouldn't up and leave and get a lawyer. They were trying to get as much information from her before she lawyered up. That's what she was doing here. She was dancing with Kevin the whole time. It was a little game that she was playing with him. She was trying to figure out if they actually had her back. Were they really treating her as a witness, or were they trying to throw her under the bus? And so every answer that she gave, she played with those two options. Is he trying to trick me, or does he have my back? Are they trying to press charges, or do they see me as a witness? That was constant throughout the entire interview, the whole interview. And I don't know why Kevin just kept allowing it to happen. Yes, Sam Spooky Witch, worst detective ever. This is the worst interrogation or interview I've ever seen. I don't think Koback is a very clever guy. He doesn't, I don't know. I mean, again, we can sit here and speculate whether he is new, right? Is he a newbie? Did he get told by his boss to not ask questions, or is he really this dense? Is he really this dim in the brain that he doesn't get it? Let's continue.
It's investigating properly.
Oh, I was like, I don't even know. Someday, honestly, so wait a minute. That was Saturday. This is the.
I don't even know. Honestly. Wait a minute. Self-censorship. Self-censorship.
We're talking about Saturday. We're not talking about Sunday right now.
Okay, so you're still on Saturday.
Yes.
You guys have a phone conversation when he gets home?
Sunday is sensitive to her, isn't it? Sunday she doesn't want to talk about. Sunday, she wants to know what he knows before she's willing to give any information. Her whole attitude changed when he talked about Sunday.
Yep. And we have talked about this in previous videos. We've already watched this interview, right? And so we've talked about it in our previous videos that Sunday is one of those days that Nichol Kessinger does not want to talk about. The way that she acts around Sunday. Oh, I don't know. Is it Sunday or is it Monday? If I'm not asleep yet, it's the previous day. If I fall asleep and I wake up and the sun is out, then it's the next day. Otherwise, I don't really know what day it is because I'm a chicken. And I don't really know unless the sun is out. That is what she's claiming here. She's going to start doing that because of the way that he is asking her about Sunday. She starts getting the days mixed up. And I think it's her playing dumb. It's her again with her incompetence, right? She's weaponizing her incompetence. Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. Daddy, what did I do on Sunday? And then you'll hear Dwayne say, I don't know. When did Jim get in? And as soon as Nichol Kessinger says, oh, Daddy, Jim got in on Monday. Remember? That's when Dwayne goes, oh, what about the museum? We went to the museum, remember? And that's when Nichol Kessinger says, oh, that's right. Oh, we did go to the museum, didn't we? Yeah, you're right about that. Now I remember. I couldn't remember because I couldn't remember if I did legs that day. Was it core day? Or was it biceps? I think I did bicep and back. I'm pretty sure. Was it the same day that I had that smoothie? No, I don't think so. I can't remember the day actually because I think it was core day. And starts deflecting. That's because even Veroscope, right? Veroscope is looking at her behavior and he knows that there's something around Sunday that is off. Scientific analysis is showing us that Sunday is very telling. She's acting, she's reacting. Her body is reacting to Sunday. Why? Why Sunday? Sunday's the biggest day, in my opinion, of course, other than the 13th when the murder happened. But look at this, right? Barbecue, the pool party. Oh, look at this. Chris also took a photo of the fridge temperature, which is strange. We don't even know what's going on with that yet. And he also looked up the Dead Sea Scrolls text. They didn't hang out that day at all, is what it looks like. Let's go ahead and pull up Nichol Kessinger's calls as well. Let's go ahead and look at the 12th, right? The 12th. Very, very nervous, right? This is what makes Nichol Kessinger nervous. That 111-minute phone call on the 12th. Look at all of this. Calls to Jim is what it looks like very early on in the morning. The first call was to Chris, then Jim, then Chris. And look at that, 111-minute phone call. That is all that we see. That's it. Calls to Jim, calls to Chris. She can't remember what she did. And she can't remember a 111-minute phone call on Sunday. No wonder she doesn't want to talk about Sunday. Julie. Aw, it's so satisfying that Veroscope confirms all of the things that we've been seeing from the very beginning. Having forensic linguists tell us why we see these things is so validating. Yes. Yeah, I love this. And I love that you guys recommended Veroscope. I do love watching his videos. He's very entertaining and I love his sense of humor. And again, I love that he's very direct as well. But it's what we've been saying. We've been saying this from the beginning. I started my channel with this interview and everything that I said, again, without any expertise on my part. I don't have any degrees in this. The only expertise I bring to the table, my years of life, the fact that I'm alive, right? The fact that I've been out in society. I'm part of a society and I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. These are the things that I was able to tell by watching her. And you have all been able to see this by watching her as well. And so seeing a scientist, right, a linguist, a behavioral analyst finally validate us, it feels good. Not only, it's not even because, oh, we were right, but it's because we've been seeing these things. So that means that not all of us are crazy. I think that's really it. Not all of us are crazy. She's obviously guilty of something. And so why is she not in prison? The dad was present to make sure she wasn't questioned. Absolutely, Sunlime. Yeah, the dad was there to make sure that the whole interview went the way that they wanted it to go. Remember, Nichol Kessinger talks about calling daddy for damage control. Daddy. Hey, daddy. I need help. Oops. Damage control. Daddy was always rescuing her from everything, saving her. And so that is what we see here. But that is all we have for today. We are going to stop it here. We are at, where are we? Oh yeah, we're almost at halfway. I get confused with this. Sometimes I think it's this one and then it's actually this one. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and stop it here. We're going to finish the rest of it on Sunday. So any questions, anything else that you want to bring to the chat, go ahead and write it down and bring it to the chat. Any questions on Sunday.